All right, so we have the July 18th meeting of the Conservation Commission. We'll just stand and salute the flag, please, to start the meeting.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First, we have Kevin Candeas, 828 Main Road, soil permit number 452.
Mr. Chairman, this is the renewal time of year for soil permits. Kevin Candeas, soil permit number 452, 828 Main Road. The owner has filed to renew the stockpiling and soil permit number 452. The site is located behind the residence and is utilized by A.J. Potter and Sons. The site is clean and in good working order. Recommendations: Westport Conservation Soil Conservation Board should approve the soil permit number 452 for 1 year.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments? Okay. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimous now. Okay, we have soil permit for Manny Alexander, 111 Main Road, number 494.
Mr. Chairman, again, Manny Alexander, 111 Main Road. This is renewal of permit, soil permit number 494. The site is located at 111 Main Road. The owner has filed to renew the stockpiling soil permit located to the rear of his residence at 111 Main Road. Site is maintained and in good working order. Recommendations: the Westport Conservation Soil Conservation Board should issue a soil permit number 494 for 1 year to Manny Alexander.
Any comments? No comments, so for a motion?
Move to issue the soil permit.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous now. Next, we have soil permit for David Brown, 1109 Main Road, number 488.
Mr. Chairman, David Brown, 1109 Main Road. This is a renewal of soil permit number 488. The owner has filed to renew the stockpiling soil permit. The site is used for stockpiling materials for his stone business, located behind the business, or the building rather, at 1109 Main Road. Again, this site is in good working order. Recommendations: the Westport Conservation Commission Soil Conservation Board should issue a soil permit number 488 for 1 year.
Comments? No comments, so for a motion?
Motion to issue the soil permit.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous now. J.R. and Son, 17 Sodom Road, permit number 492, renewal.
Mr. Chairman, J.R. and Sons, operating at 17 Sodom Road. This is a renewal of soil permit number 492. Again, the owner has filed to renew the stockpiling soil permit number 488, wrong, number 492. The site is used for stockpiling materials for his stone and asphalt business. The site is in good working order. Recommendations: Westport Conservation Commission should issue soil permit number 492 for 1 year. You can see I was plugging and chugging.
Comments? No comments? Motion?
Move to approve the, oh, go ahead.
I second
All right. All those in favor?
it.
Opposed?
Aye.
Yeah, that's unanimous now. Next, we have River. Yeah.
River Falls Landscaping, Mr. Chairman.
We have another one for David Cabral. Who's that? I don't see one of those.
She must have pulled it by accident.
All right, so we'll put that aside.
You got River Falls with you?
Yeah, I got River Falls. I just, but David was the next one in line. All right, so River Falls, 251 State Road, permit number 458.
Correct. Mr. Chairman, River Falls Landscaping, he's on State Road at 251. This is soil permit number 458. The owner has filed to renew the stockpiling soil permit number 458, located at 251 State Road. Again, this site is clean and in good working order. Recommendations for the board: the Westport Conservation Soil Conservation Board should issue a 1 year soil permit for number 458.
Any comments? Not a motion?
I move we issue a 1 year soil permit for number 458.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous now. Are we doing Blue Cat tonight?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna present and then we will most likely continue.
Blue Cat LLC, notice of intent, lots 4B, 4C, 4G, Westport Lakes, construct independent living facility in the buffer zone. How you doing? Good. butter notification cards?
I do, yep. We did also get a DEP file number as well.
All right, thank you. You can start your presentation whenever you're ready.
Sure. Carlos Sculti with Civil Environmental Consultants here on behalf of the applicant, Blue Cat LLC, to present a proposed project, Westport Lakes, located on Westport Lakes Drive and Gulfview Lane. Ultimately, the project includes construction of a independent living facility, which includes 30 new structures, which include a mix of duplexes and single-family structures for a total of 56 units for the development. The parcel as it exists today is roughly 143 acres, pretty much undeveloped land. We're proposing to subdivide the land with a pending proof not required plan to be submitted in front of the planning board, which would reduce the development parcel down to approximately a 30-acre parcel for the development. So we're looking at this from a couple different perspectives. I'll talk a little bit about the site layout and then talk about the goals compliant and overall grading and drainage design. If it's okay with the board, I'll work predominantly off this single sheet that shows it all on one page instead of flipping through plans and going into the details, but happy to go through if you have any questions on the detailed design. So the project as proposed has access off of Westport Lakes Drive, which is constructed. We understand that it's not fully approved yet from the Conservation Commission standpoint of getting a COC on the subdivision approval. All the properties along that road have been sold off to another developer. That road is bonded, ultimately going to be completed, and the certificate of compliance from the Conservation Commission will be submitted as well, so that's forthcoming. Gulfview Lane that we're showing as proposed has also been designed as part of the subdivision process as well. We're just showing it as proposed as part of this subdivision or as part of the work that we're doing here because it has not yet been constructed. So we would execute the construction of that roadway and all the associated utility infrastructure that goes with that. So we'll be essentially using the design as previously approved and building off that for the proposed development. So the access for the proposed development is located off the proposed Gulfview Lane Drive. We'll be creating one large parcel, 30 individual units pushed further to the west side of the property. So north on this page is up, so it's right on the page. There are existing bordering vegetative wetlands located along the easterly edge of the development. We're providing all the work within 100 foot of the buffer is within the Conservation Commission jurisdiction, which is why we're in front of you here today. So the design was ultimately prepared to maximize the buffer zones from those bordering vegetative wetlands and push the development away from those wetlands where we can. Ultimately, the delineation was done through an ORAD that was previously issued for the project in May of 2021. So the wetland jurisdiction along the southerly wetland and the majority of this northerly wetland was approved under that ORAD. And then there's a portion of the wetlands here that are identified based on previous delineations beyond that recent ORAD. So we're utilizing those delineations as part of the project design. So again, the independent living facility metrics for the planning board for the zoning compliance for this have a few items that we want to point out. As part of the proposed development, we have to maintain 50% of the development parcel as open space as defined by the zoning ordinance. So we're preserving the central portion of the site here as open space, meeting that 50% requirement. And in the proposed development, we'll be maintaining that, so that will have deed restrictions, so it won't ever be developed in the future. So that's, it's landscape areas, it's detention areas, essentially green space for the project. The existing conditions, the overall grading for the site, ultimately everything from the westerly edge of the site drains towards both of these bordering vegetated wetlands. And then the front portion of the site, a small portion drains towards the wetlands to the west here, and then the remainder drains toward Westport Lakes Drive. Again, the drainage picked up as this front piece was all previously designed and approved as part of that subdivision roadway design process. And I'll talk about the stormwater management system in the westerly portion of the site in a minute. The site, as previously noted, is predominantly woodlands with some wetlands, undeveloped land as it exists today. As part of the project, we're going to be introducing approximately 4.9 acres of impervious area, so there will be an increase of impervious area with the proposed development. Again, the project is 30 new units and a proposed clubhouse. So the idea is that it's a self-contained facility, so as part of the design, we've incorporated a number of elements that the residents there would use in the independent living facility. There's a clubhouse with parking that's located here, so if the residents chose to drive to the parking area, there'd be a place for them to be able to access the clubhouse. There's a community garden, some amenity space for the residents to use. And then also we have new walkways and essentially a lawn vegetated area along Gulfview Lane that would be, passive, open recreation where people would be able to, play catch, golf, frisbee, do whatever they want to with some open space there. We do have walkways proposed along the internal side driveway, which would be a 24-foot wide access drive. There's exercise stations located along that walkway to help promote the use of the space and the interaction with the public elements. And we're proposing low-level lighting along the driveway connections to that internal site drive to really make it feel like a smaller residential community as opposed to, bright, open lighting that you might find in a more commercial development. So we'll provide increased access and pedestrian activity, as well as access along the edge of the drive. So minimizing the width of the driveway to 24 foot to minimize the impacts that we have on the wetland buffer zones. The proposed wetlands compliant, so all the work that we're doing here, there are 0 wetlands impacts to the actual wetlands themselves. All the work is within buffer zones, so it's a complete buffer zone project. We're maintaining and maximizing the buffer zones to the extent that we can. It's hard to see from there, but the 100-foot buffer zone extends approximately to the front of the houses on the southerly edge, and the rear of the houses along the easterly edge. You're ultimately getting a little bit further away from the development. The proposed grading and drainage design, what we've done is we looked at holistically not just our site, but the abutting properties as well. So a fair amount of these abutting properties actually drains into the site. So we've included stormwater drainage in between a few of the units. We're going to pick up that runoff, convey it through our stormwater management system to make sure that they're sized appropriately, be able to accommodate that runoff. And then from a drainage approach, all the internal site driveways, we have a number of storm center water quality units, the 450I units located at low points along the site drive, where we pick up the runoff from the driveways and the rooftops of the units, provide the water quality treatment, ultimately running through detention basins. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 detention basins proposed as part of the project that are designed to maintain the peak rates that we have from the project. So the 2, 10, 25, and 100 storm events we looked at under existing conditions and proposed conditions and reducing the peak rates in all the storm events. Additionally, the town stormwater regulations require that we reduce the overall volume of runoff for the 10-year stormwater event. So for the 10-year rainfall event, we've included a number of infiltration chambers behind the units that will pick up the rooftop areas for these southerly units, where we'll be able to recharge the stormwater and hold up to the 10-year storm for the roof runoff from those areas, being able to provide that detention and the infiltration to meet the stormwater standard for that 10-year event. The basins have been sized to accommodate up to the 100-year storm event, ultimately with overflows spilling out to the wetlands, matching the existing conditions. All the outlets have level spreaders on the downstream side as well, designed to dissipate the flows to avoid point discharge, to spread it out to a more uniform discharge there. As previously mentioned, the front half of Gulfview Lane was previously designed as part of that subdivision process, so we're essentially maintaining the previously approved drainage patterns, and the runoff is accepted in the existing municipal system that's in Westport Lakes Drive, routing it through that whole detention system that was previously designed. From a utility perspective, we are proposing to have a pumped system for the septic design. So we have septic fields located along the frontage closer to Westport Lakes Drive here, whose size of primary as well as a reserve system. There were test pits that were done as part of recent investigation and previously as part of previous investigations as well that identified that there was evidence of modeling approximately 3 feet down from the ground surface. The septic system was designed, perk rates were run, the systems were designed to accommodate those flows. Each one of the residential units will have a septic tank that essentially accommodates the flow from each one of these units. So from each 2-unit structure, there will be a septic tank. It runs through the gravity drainage system and then ultimately pumped into the pressure dosing systems that are located here. For a water withdrawal approach, we're proposing to install groundwater wells for each cluster of 4 buildings. I know that was a comment from the Conservation Commission in terms of looking into that, from the Conservation Agent in terms of looking at that in more detail. We're basically following an approach that was done for similar assisted living facilities in the past in terms of having individual well systems as opposed to one large public water supply well. We think that will function better from a more spread out withdrawal instead of a concentrated location in one space. There will be new electric telecommunications and other private utilities designed to serve the development. We certainly don't expect the Conservation Commission to act on this today, so we just wanted to provide an opportunity to introduce the project, hear any sort of questions or comments that the board may have, and then have an opportunity to respond to those. We are ultimately planning on submitting with the planning board within the coming weeks here, just to get that application in so that the planning and the Conservation Commission process can run concurrently. So with that, it's a very high-level overview of the project. I know there's a lot of information here as well as in the packets. Welcome any questions that you may have and start the dialogue on this project.
Thank you.
Good time.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, Blue Cat LLC, location is Westport Lakes Road. It's a notice of intent application provided by CEC with Carlos representing for them. Report date is July 12, 2023. The file number for the project is SE 802697. Agencies to be contacted and require, this would be the planning board as well as the Board of Health. I forgot to include with the proposed large combined septic system. The site visit was also on July 12, 2023. Description of the work: the applicant is filed to construct an independent living facility in the buffer zone. The wetland line has been approved with an ORAD SE 802571 on record. The site is proposed to construct a road access off of Westport Lakes Road. The 530-foot roadway called Gulf View Lane will terminate at a cul-de-sac. The 24-foot wide access drive will then extend to the far west side of the property between the wetland resource areas. The project is proposing to clear approximately 15.5 acres of the 143-acre woodland parcel and allow the 30 townhouses, single-family units, roadway, recreational areas, grading, utilities, and stormwater structures along the edge of the wetland. The housing units will be serviced by a series of private wells shared between units. Wastewater will be managed by utilizing a combined sewage disposal system proposed at the entrance to the development and constructed out of the buffer zone. The project will only disturb the buffer zone with no wetland alterations proposed. All townhouse units are no closer than 80 feet from the resource area. The stormwater basins are designed to capture peak flows and remove 80% of the total suspended solids. This will be achieved by installing storm scepter units as a pre-treatment. The stormwater basins will be constructed along the edge of the wetland in 5 locations. The limit of clearing is within feet of the edge of the BVW, and measures should be considered to provide potentially more setbacks. Discharge of stormwater during high flows should have adequate separation to protect these resource areas. Roof runoff will be directed into infiltration units for each of the buildings. The represented stormwater basin locations appear to be designed into the water table. This is based on water table depths at the percolation location. Depths of the water table in each basin shall be required as part of this design. The overall project meets the 310 CMR 10.00 but the following additional information is needed for the commission to determine if the project protects the interests of the act. The commission may consider sending out for a third-party review at the cost to the applicant. The project has provided an operation and maintenance plan for the stormwater infrastructure, and that's to be maintained throughout the process and the life of the independent facility. Recommendations, as Carlos mentioned, some of these he has seen. I did provide my report to him ahead of this meeting to provide him some ability to respond in a sense. Again, recommendations for the commission. We first should request a continuance and provide the following: water table depths determined in all drainage basins and recorded by a licensed soil evaluator. Project must maintain 25 feet from all resource areas, including clearing, grading, and roadway. Third-party review may be voted upon if the commission so chooses. Proposed use of individual wells rather than a public water supply needs clarification. Mr. Collis rather did mention that why they are proposing it in that manner. Does this design flow follow the town regulation for planning board acceptance? Any changes to the plan may require a new NOI application. I always urge these filings to go to the planning board at similar times, just to behoove you from having to, again, maybe pay twice for consultants, but also have their input throughout the process so you're not redesigning after you get our approval. Did the original drainage design of Gulfview Road get included in the above drainage design? You did say yes, it did. Is full basements or crawl spaces proposed for foundation design? Are foundation drains required in that manner? And lastly, this was brought to my attention today, there are off-site wetlands that may extend over onto the site. The Bullier parcel from the southwest corner, prior delineation has a BVW extending onto this parcel a little further than what the ORAD encompasses, so I would like time to review that in respect to this concern of that neighbor. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. I do urge you to let abutters maybe speak at this time.
All right. Do you have any questions? Anybody have any questions right now? So I'll make a comment.
Well, I just have some comment, but they're more related to kind of the Board of Health issue. Just to clarify for me, because I also happen to sit on the board. And so because it's new construction, these will all require nitrogen reducing systems. And you were mentioning, and I was just, I wanted to understand whether each system would be individually, each, can I say homeowner? Yep. Would be individually responsible for operation and maintenance of that system, and they would all go to a jointly operated leach field or SAS?
Yep, and I think the overarching answer to that question would be the condominium association that would be developed for this development would be responsible for the operations and maintenance and the upkeep. Okay. Regardless of the individual unit owners. So that would be just part of the funding mechanism for the condominium association to make sure that the maintenance is done appropriately for the overall. Okay. And part of the reason I asked that is that we had not a similar scale project, but a project that got into fairly complex discussion about the financial assurance mechanism that's required for shared systems. So just to suggest that early on, you reach out to the health director and start that conversation. Sure, yeah, and I guess maybe the difference there might be is these will all be part of a single site, so single development. Right, association. Right, so the association, yeah. I mean, the other situation was a trust, but it was a similar kind of thing. But okay, yeah, thanks. That's it for me.
Does anybody in the audience have any questions? If you do, if you could just...
I would just like to agree with as far as the...
Well, just do me a favor, as long as the people at home may be watching, just come out to the podium and just state your name. And, you're on camera, so you can't fall.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Pimentel. I live on Grand Pine Way, and I just want to agree with, as far as the southwest corner, as far as being wetlands, I think the wetlands do extend further than what the plans say. I do have a set of the plans that I've been looking over.
Okay. Well, Chris is gonna look into that further.
All right, thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Bob Sykes. I'm here on behalf of my father-in-law, Rod Boyer, who's the southern abutter of the
Okay.
project limits, the civil engineer. I reviewed the plans, the stormwater report, the NOI. We got a list of comments, questions too for the applicant. I don't know if you'd like us to go through our list of questions or provide you the list.
Probably better to provide, I mean, you can, if you wanna go over briefly, I'm probably not gonna ask, but you can provide the list, and then Chris can look it over, and if they need to be answered, he'll definitely, work with the engineer on that, and then at the next meeting, hopefully we can, discuss some of them, or clear it up before the next meeting.
We've got copies this evening and we'll provide to you.
Okay.
And I think we're just here to advocate for a third-party review, essentially, and just make sure that there's no negative impacts to the southern abutter.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. Did you give Chris that list yet?
I'm sorry?
Did you give him the list? Okay,
Thank you. Chris.
thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right. So back to us. Chris, do you want to review that list first, or would you like to discuss a third-party review now, or wait until we have a chance to look over the list?
Mr. Chairman, I think in the magnitude of the project, it would not hurt for us to consider a third-party review. Whether it's redundant with what the planning board does or not, I think it would be beneficial for us interpreting some of the stormwater design and how they came to the numbers utilized in the drainage calculations. Somewhat foreign to me at some time, so I would feel more comfortable if the commission would consider that this evening, and I can bring to you at the next meeting a series of people that may be interested,
Okay.
and that way we can get a kind of a quote from them, and I can come back to you on August 1st and see where that stands.
All right.
Excuse me, I do not have an individual firm I would
Right,
currently recommend, but I can see who is available.
okay. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
And I think there would be coordination with the planning board, so I don't think it would be excessively costly from that sense, but at least we would have our own set of eyes looking at it when the project came before us for final review.
Okay. You guys want to make a motion? Have Chris bring a list of potential firms to represent us as a third-party review?
I would so move.
Okay. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
Uh,
All right, that's unanimous, then. And how long are we going to continue this for, Chris?
I would say to the, what do we have, 3 meetings in August, right?
If you're going to get a third party, it's going to take you, could take you 2 to 4 weeks.
I would
to
say
get
the
it.
third meeting in August, is that all right?
Yeah, I would just ask that if there's an opportunity at least to get the proposals and authorize a third-party review in between now and then, however quickly we can get a proposal, you know, we'd appreciate if we could get that at least done, so that we could get them going and not have to wait for that procedural item to get done.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so
We hope to move it as quickly as we can, given however availability there is.
Yeah.
all right, so what is our third meeting in August?
But first, the
29.
29.
All right, so we'll tentatively, we're gonna continue to the 29th of August, and hopefully by then we'll have some more information, possibly even a third party started on the project, but let's do it. So we need a motion to continue to August 29th?
Move to, go ahead.
I move we continue to August 29th.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right. So August 29th will be the next meeting, and we'll hopefully have some information before that about the third party, and we'll be in touch.
Are you able to, without reopening the hearing, authorize a third party review to get going before that hearing, or do you have to wait for the 29th to act on that?
we probably have to vote, I would assume we have to vote on it, right?
I would try to get it to them for the August 1st meeting, for them to enact on it then.
Yeah, so ideally, that's kind of what I was getting at before. I don't want to wait till the 29th necessarily.
Well, you may need to the 29th between acting on whatever this person.
He doesn't wanna
Oh, no, I agree. I just didn't want to wait till the 29th for the board.
No. We are gonna authorize much in advance and hopefully have available information for you before the 29th,
Perfect.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, have a good evening. Let's see.
Betty Mott.
Betty Mott, John LaRose, notice of intent, 104, 105 East Beach Road, beach maintenance. Anybody here for the Mott LaRose?
I'm here. I'm Betty.
Oh, hi, Betty.
I can do it for her.
Okay, you wanna just, do we have butter cards and all that?
Yes, she dropped them off with us, Mr. Chairman.
All right, let me just double check.
What's that? I think they're on.
Who's this?
I'm fine.
Betty Mott with, RDA.
Yeah, she's got green cards, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is Betty Mott and John LaRose. This is 104 and 105 East Beach Road. It's a notice of intent application. The date of the report is July 13th, 2023. The file number is SE 802699. Mrs. Mott has submitted the packet to the NHESP, or rather the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, and that final approval is pending. Description of the work: she is a trailer lot owner on East Beach, so the owner has filed to allow beach nourishment to the existing trailer lots on East Beach Road. These two lots are adjacent to each other. The applicant has submitted the fee to the Natural Heritage, and their decision is pending. The owner wishes to be able to maintain the lot as needed with compatible sand materials during a given spring when it is required. Resource areas to be impacted is the land subject to flooding. This is a barrier beach and a coastal beach. Recommendations for the board: the Westport Conservation Commission should approve the beach nourishment requested pending Natural Heritage comments and the standard order of conditions for this activity.
And I'm assuming that part of that's time of year requirements, so.
Yes, well, those will come with the NHE's comments, but yes, the April 1st to August 31st on time of year restrictions, as well as compatible sand materials be utilized.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions in the audience? No? All right, how about a motion for that then?
So I move to approve the request for beach nourishment, subject to natural heritage comments and standard order of conditions.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And you're gonna explain to them in detail what they can and can't do and when they can do it?
Yes, she has been very cooperative and is very aware of the restrictions on the site.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Carmen Legato.
Hey, you're all good. All right, I'll be mailing that, I'll call you so you can come pick it up.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Carmen Legato, RDA 131 Petty Lane, addition to existing dwelling, paved driveway, stormwater discharge system, septic maintenance, septic system repair and removal of invasive species. All under an RDA.
Chris Hill,
This is-
engineering, representing the applicant.
That's the overview of the site. Go ahead.
This is the existing conditions of the site. It's a 12,700 square foot lot. There's a 3-bedroom dwelling on the lot, with the driveway here. We've located all the trees on the lot. It does slope from east to west towards the Westport River, which is about 250 feet to the west of the property. These are approximate wetlands as provided by Chris. And the 50-foot buffer here extends just onto the property line, and then we have the 100-foot buffer, which is about halfway into the lot. We're proposing an addition to the dwelling as well as a new septic system. We're also looking to put in a new driveway and do some invasive species control and new landscaping. I've identified here in red the
trees we're looking to remove. And then we will have erosion control along the limit of the property here, basically between work and wetlands, as well as the down gradient. The site plan here, the existing dwellings are here. It will be, the addition will be off the back as well as above it. This is the proposed driveway here. We have a retaining wall on the right side of the driveway. The driveway will actually go down to the garage area. We'll have a drain here that will collect all the storm water into the recharge system located here. We'll also have a recharge system here for the roof drains, and a few of them will be connected to these cisterns here. We'll collect runoff for landscaping purposes. We're proposing to install an Amtex denitrification system that's connected to a bottomless sand filter leaching field. This is located just into the 100-foot buffer. We chose the bottomless sand filter, it's the smallest footprint, and this area right here is actually the only area that's not within a 100-foot buffer to a budding well or the locust well. One of the major concerns with the site is obviously the sloping from east to west. It's a pretty good slope. So erosion control and stormwater runoff is what we're looking to battle. So we're collecting basically all impervious surfaces into these subsurface drains. We do have a true grid grass parking area here just for some more additional parking. This is a pervious stone walkway here. Also being done on the lot is we have 2 closed loop ground source heat pumps installed here and here, which will help cool and heat the dwelling. And then we have here the owner, Mr. Legato, does landscaping and drainage design in Maryland. He's actually moving to Westport. This will be his house. So he has provided this landscaping plan. Essentially, there's invasive species here in this orange line, basically around the edge of the property. And he's noted on this plan with different colors the various plants and trees that he's proposing. This includes 8 trees, 25 large shrubs, and other various plantings. He will be overseeing all of that work. I think that's about it. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Carmen Legato, 131 Petty Lane. This is the request of determination of applicability. Farland Corp. is here representing. The date of the report is July 13, 2023. This does not require a file number. The reason I allowed the request for determination is because of the setback of 50 feet. They were no closer than that, and this was an addition rather than new construction. The work, the owner has filed to construct an addition to the existing home, removing invasive species, and install a sewage disposal system. The wetlands are located off-site and are approximate for this application. As the engineer mentioned, I informed them of these wetlands that basically have been shown previously on applications, and I kind of eyeballed where it is approximately. The work is all within the existing yard. The 3 bedrooms repaired to the sewage disposal system will be placed 80 feet from the approximate wetland edge. The design will include a denitrification components as well as the sand filter design to give that small footprint. The addition to the home will be 65 feet from the wetland edge and will infiltrate all roof runoff. As the engineer again mentioned, the homeowner is a big proponent of utilizing infiltration systems and all for the use of containing and controlling runoff. He has also made this extensive landscape design plan, which includes, as I will say for the record, all native plants that are conducive for this area. As far as the invasive species, I assume it's most likely the bittersweet and grapes and other stuff that is invaded and choking the existing numerous juniper trees that are on the site. So I don't have a problem with it. As you saw in that landscape plan, I mean, there is going to be a substantial amount of plantings and screening all around the site, as well as inclusive of capturing some of that runoff with the design of that retaining wall. Helps to minimize a lot of that flow going down to the west, as the engineer stated. This is a sloped lot. So the invasive species existing around the property would be removed and the landscape improved with native shrub, ground, and tree plantings. Based on this observation and the extent of the design, I recommend the Westport Conservation Commission should issue a negative box 3 determination for the proposed work in the buffer zone for 131 Petty Lane, and that would include conditions for the landscape proposed on that attached plan.
And a lot of this plan is outside the buffer zone.
Yes, sir, absolutely correct. So you are looking at mostly the northerly coming to the east and then slightly a section to the west, which is in that yellow arced area. But again, this inclusively will extend across the entire property for his own well-being as well as controlling that other stormwater areas. It's a really good design considering.
All right. Any questions?
My only suggestion is make the planting deer resistant.
A lot of deer.
Hate to see all that beautiful investment get eaten up by deer.
Lot of bushes about 4 feet vacant of any green, anything. Oh yeah. Okay. Anything else? If not, looking for a motion to issue a negative box 3.
Correct.
So I'll move to issue a negative box 3 determination.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. That's unanimous. Alan. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. Robert Carey, continue.
Nope, he's here.
Okay, Robert Carey, notice of intent, SE 8026881702, C Drift Road, construction, elevated walkway, fixed pier, gangway, float, boat lift, boarding, vegetated, wetland, and flood zone, and riverfront area.
Would they leave? It's you ready?
Yeah, do you need me to present something?
Yeah.
Are you able to vote on it?
No.
Chris, you can't vote on it, so we really can't do anything.
Oh, that's true. I didn't realize that, Robert.
What's that?
Robert, please go to the podium.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Carrig, without a party who is excluding himself from this matter, we do not have a quorum
Okay.
to proceed.
Oh.
So I apologize for that. I wasn't fully aware, but I would suggest that you request a continuance to August 1st,
I can do
which
that.
is our next scheduled hearing.
Okay, I would like to request a continuance to August 1st.
All right. Do you have a motion to continue, where is it, notice of intent, SE 802688 till August 1st?
Motion to continue.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second it.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right.
Sorry about
Abstain.
that, Bob.
We'll move to August 1st.
Wait a
Thank you.
minute.
All right?
Why don't we have a quorum?
'Cause
He's my abutter.
He's a butter, fills in
Oh.
one.
So he has to step aside.
Okay, we have Zelma and Nafiz Salim, notice of intent, 58 East Beach Road, beach maintenance.
I'm gonna do this for him
Did I
because,
say that correctly?
yeah, I think you did. Zolma and Naif, yeah, that. 58 East Beach Road, notice of intent application. They recently purchased this lot on East Beach Road. They obtained a file number SE 802686. Natural Heritage Endangered Species has provided comments for this project. Description of the work: the applicant has just purchased a trailer lot parcel off East Beach Road. The NOI is for periodic beach nourishment as is needed. The site must utilize a compatible sand that is similar to the existing beach. Work shall be completed prior to April 1st and no work between April 1st and August 31st. The specific guidelines are specified in Natural Heritage's conditions, which are inclusive and attached to the order of conditions for projects in this location. So recommendations: the Westport Conservation Commission should approve the proposed beach nourishment with conditions from Natural Heritage and Endangered Species for the time of year restriction, April 1st to August 31st, and beach compatible material be utilized for 58 East Beach Road, file number SE 802686.
Just make sure you explain it to them when they pick up their
I will.
order, that way there's no confusion on what they can put down or anything like that, that way there's no problems in the future.
Correct.
All right.
Will do.
Thanks, Bud. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the proposed beach nourishment with conditions from NHESB and time of year restriction, April 3rd, August 31st.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's unanimous now.
Who? We haven't brought it up. Did you skip him?
Oh, I did skip them.
Yeah, well, then, Mr.
I'll go
Chairman,
back.
we're gonna chastise him right now.
I checked them off like it was done, and it wasn't even done, see that?
I just looked right through him.
Dwight Sylvia, notice of intent, 181 East Beach Road, expansion of existing shed and buffer zone, coastal Dunbarry Beach, Lancet coastal soft flooring. Are we hearing that tonight, or is that?
No, Mr. Chairman, he is requested to go to the ZBA, so I suggest we reschedule this meeting for the last meeting, 8/28/23.
Okay, we need a motion to continue Dwight Sylvia, notice of intent for 181 East Beach Road till 8/23?
8/28? 29?
Till August 29th.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right.
Yeah, I wrote it to here, Leon. Shame on me.
Okay, moving on.
If you want to.
Certificate of compliance for Kenneth Pereira, SE 802234, 44 Hemlock Street.
Mr. Chairman, Kenneth Pereira, certificate of compliance, 44 Hemlock Street, file number SE 802238. The owner has filed a request for a certificate of compliance for the single-family home constructed a number of years ago. All work was completed according to the plan of record. A certificate of compliance is in order. I think Mr. Pereira is selling the property to his son, and this is an outstanding blemish on that title. So the Westport Conservation Commission should issue a certificate of compliance as all work has been completed according to the plan of record for file number SE 80238.
All right, any
Kenneth
questions?
Pereira.
No questions, a motion to issue the certificate of compliance?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous, yeah. All right,
Then
we have Westlook Farm Dock Association, SE 82444, 33 Westlook Lane. This is an extension for SE 82444.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think some are familiar. I know you are. Westlook Dock Association has been in a legal battle going on probably 6 years now for this potential dock installation. So the members of the Westlook Dock Association have requested an extension to the current order of conditions for the dock construction. The parties involved are still in litigation over the use of the dock and access to the area. So I suggest for the board that they should issue an extension for 3 years for file number SE 802444.
All right. You have a motion?
Move to issue the extension for 3 years.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous, yeah.
Where is that located?
Westlook Lane is off of Horseneck Road, probably just to get up about, I don't know, probably 600, 800 yards, maybe a little more than that, about 1,000 yards from the intersection with Hicks Bridge. It's on the right-hand
Oh, yeah,
side.
yeah.
And there's a landowner that has the right-of-way that goes through her property, and she refuses to let them consider that as access
Oh,
to the common land that was designed for this development.
All right, next, Mass DOT, SE 82019, routes 88-177 and I-95. This is an extension for their current order conditions.
Mass DOT is just a generic in-house to maintain it open for repairs and such that may be required along 88-177 and I-95, just the state highways in the community. I should probably say Route 6 as well. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. So this Mass DOT has requested a 3-year extension to file number SE 802019. Again, this is for the existing use of repairs or periodic maintenance along resource areas within the state highway layout. Recommendation to Westport Conservation should issue a 3-year extension to Mass DOT for file number SE 802019.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move we issue a 3-year extension for file number SC 80, 2019.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Fantastic.
Okay. Let's- That's the end of the hearings, now we just have some bills.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
So we have a bill for East Bay for advertising, $184.50 for advertising hearings. Motion to pay,
Motion to pay.
second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. I know-
Spell my name wrong, it's invalid.
You spelled your name wrong?
You put in, well, this thing we just signed, there's an I instead of a Y.
Leon did it.
It's all right, my last name is Martin.
It's all Leon's fault. All right, MAC dues, $452 for the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissions. Looking for a motion to pay.
Move to pay.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Minutes, which I thought we were gonna do, but let's see what we have here. Minutes for 6:20. No, that's not happening. Minutes for 6:06. And that's not happening. All right, so we're gonna just, we'll wait till we have more people here. So no minutes are gonna be done. Chris, what else do we have there?
Mr. Chairman, we've had some calls received recently. There's a large dock going in that this commission denied on the West Branch. It's actually Mr. Gilmore. He received the superseding order of conditions from the state. This is a rather 480-foot pier that extends from his residence off Old Harbor Road across quite an extensive section of salt marsh out to a mud hole. I think I'm supposed to say that in open meeting, but I find that this location is difficult for use of anything. I have some concerns, and I will be getting in touch with the landowner and the person installing, because they are leaving the barge there during tide events, and I'm not quite sure if they're aware that the barge is not supposed to reside on the bottom during the installation of the dock. So I'm not sure who it is, because I never was contacted to let me know that the work was being done, so I just wanted to make that known for the record. They do have approvals, but I will follow up to see who the installer is. The next thing that we...
Isn't that standard on our orders that the dock is not supposed to be sitting on the bottom?
Yes.
No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
barge installation,
Right.
yes, and it's standard for, the state superseded, but the state's comments obviously reflect what is pretty much considered for all, and that is you're supposed to do this during a certain tidal event. The majority of the work is done. I again, was on vacation when I do believe we got the first phone call, and I just received the second one, so it brought me back to my attention. Secondly, on the issue is another matter is Mass DEP. We've come to fruition to schedule a site walk at the Ferry Farm. Again, this site walk has been requested by Mass DEP, not the town conservation or the town board of health. I want to make that clear for the record. The site visit is scheduled for this Friday at 10 o'clock. This is for the state to oversee the progress of some areas that they had identified as being wetlands and what has been done to correct those measures. This is the second enforcement action that this property has been put in place on. Secondly to that is the farm was hauling in what is called biosolids, which is a product from sewage treatment facilities and a product that comes up at the end of the process. It can be used for certain activities or certain uses related to agriculture, but there is some concern of how the family used this product in respect to the land and how will be more observed at the time. I do know that they used it to fill some wetland areas, trying to enhance the soil conditions of the forest that they're trying to attempt to utilize as an agricultural field. That, again, for the record. And secondly, lastly rather, Mass Audubon Plover report. I've been having them send us a report. I did forward you guys it. It's rather interesting. The town is pretty active With plovers again this year, we've had some success at the end of John Reed Road. There were 2 nests within very close proximity to each other, as well as one further over, closer towards the Gooseberry side of things. There is no activity on Beach Ave, but there was some activity on Cherry and Webb. So those are the 3 areas. Cherry and Webb has had some predation, some issues with seagulls, as well as numerous concerns for loose dogs and not leashed individual pets. So that is a shout out to all pet owners that they need to have their animals leashed during this time of year when they are walking, and need to keep them away from these enclosures. Just that intimidation causes harm to the individual chicks if they're present, or to the eggs, leaving them unguarded allows them to be predated. So it's really important that you try not to let your dogs run through these areas. Be conscientious and try to maintain control of your dog, especially when these birds are active. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. We're still pending a few soil permit renewals, but for the most part, those are completed. And our next agenda is seen to be similar, not as congested as this one, but again, things are still moving forward and people are still actively constructing in the community.
Just as a side comment, I was on the beach last night, and there was 30 plovers, all behind the invisible fence, all just in one area. I'd never seen so many plovers.
Wow.
And they were all just standing stock still. I don't know what was going on. It was like they were watching us instead of us watching them.
That's great.
It was crazy.
Well, just in sight of that, Horseneck has had a terrible season because they've been severely predated by, I think, coyotes and crows. And
Crows.
so
is
they've had a real.
I mentioned the report. I read
Yeah.
through the report. More
Yeah.
crows than seagulls, actually.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. But
What beach did you see him on?
Cherry and Webb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had noticed
Yeah.
like larger groups, but that was the first time we'd actually seen that many all just hanging out together, so to speak. And they were all behind the.
There used to be a lot in Beach Ave. I'm surprised it's none.
they frequent Beach Ave early in the season to frolic and to feed, but I think in past experiences, they've had a lot of washouts there. So they did have numerous washouts this year too, but the birds immediately re-nest. But for some reason, Beach Ave doesn't get the look that I thought it could at times, but again, the most active beach seems to be the Horseneck and Cherry and Webb right now, with some birds dispersing when they get disturbed, and that's where another one ended up on Cherry and Webb. So they kind of seem to be being pretty populated than what you would think. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.